This is Kevin Calabro. The Sonics and the San Antonio Spurs here tonight. Take a look at the injury report brought to you by Virginia Mason. Ray Allen, does that say enough? Out tonight, 24 points, 8th in the league in scoring, 38% from three-point range. Allen, the author of games at 24 and 29 against the Spurs. Allen 4 of 4 from 3 in the first meeting and 5 of 9 in the second meeting.
Well, Flip Murray is going to take his spot. Now, Flip hasn't had a lot of minutes this season, but he's ripping and raring to go. I guarantee you that. This guy has been waiting for this chance. He had it last year, obviously, when Ray was out, the first 25 games, Kevin?
Yes.
I think Flip is going to relive those days tonight because he is so excited about being on the court.
He played in all 82 games last year for the Sonics. He was the only Sonic to accomplish that. He had 18 starts last year. He had 20 games, or actually 17 games, of 20 points or better on the way to averaging nearly 13 points per contest. So he's a guy that can get it done. He's going to need to be physical. This is a perfect matchup for Manu Ginobili, who is as physical a player there is and a terrific perimeter defender. One of the many reasons that San Antonio has been so good this year defensively is this man right here, Manu Ginobili. And of course, Bruce Bowen. We tend to forget Bowen, another terrific perimeter defender, because Ginobili has just come on the scene like gangbusters, playing both ends of the court so well.
And Kevin, Bruce Bowen was player of the week the first week of January. He went against Kobe Bryant, Reggie Miller, and Carmelo Anthony, and all held them down below 17 points while he averaged like 20 points.
And he was scoring himself. That's exactly right. A terrific three-point shooter. Sonics win the tip, and Rednauer handling. And Murray now will control out high on the left side. Murray looking over there for Lewis, is fronted by Bowen. Lewis comes out to screen for Murray. Murray top of the key, down the left side, whirls into the lane, stops, slings outside to Lewis. He'll squeeze off a follow-away jumper, got it. And the Sonics on top, 2-0 as Lewis on a pick and pop scores.
Well, the Spurs, they're one of the stingiest teams in the league. Matter of fact, the best stingiest team. You got to penetrate and kick out to the shooters.
86 points a game. They forced 15 turnovers. Bowen outside, we just mentioned it. Coming out off of a screen, popped out, got the mid-range jumper up and in, a 2-2 ball game.
And usually you'll let Bowen shoot that, but this month of January, the guy's being an offensive threat. You got to guard him.
Murray with the ball outside the three-point perimeter. Coming to the ball was Lewis. His progress impeded, and a foul called on Lewis for the shove on Bowen.
Kevin, Bowen is one of the best at this. He beats his man across the lane and gets in front, and Richard just gives him a little bit of a shove. And that's what Bowen does best, is guard guys really close and physically.
Ginobili handling right-hand side of the key off a Duncan screen, drives in deep. The left-hander rolls up a running lefty. James makes it into a tough shot. Ginobili goes to the floor. Ginobili missing the shot, grabbed by Murray, a wheel into front court. Murray brings it to the center of the court and slings it out high on the left side to Rednauer. Evans will vacate the space on the left side. Rednauer has a matchup on Duncan. He'll float a 15-footer over and up and in. Sonics lead 4-2.
And we've said it all along. Luke's confidence is just growing and growing, and when he hits jumpers, it's going to grow even more.
Parker goes to work on Rednauer now, wrapping it between the wickets. Massenberg comes to screen. Massenberg pops out, gets the ball, hands to Tony into the lane, slashes into the glass. A running right-hander up and in. Parker in the paint scoring. We're tied at 4. Rednauer the other way. Spins away from the oncoming Bowen. Got between two defenders, found the handle, swings it outside to Murray. Murray off a James screen, handling at the top of the key. Sonics reset, 12 to shoot. Ridnour will come to take it high on the left. Looking low for Duncan. Remain James on Massenberg. He'll sweep in with a 12-foot hook. Won't go. Rebound batted free, and Massenberg can't handle it. James was able to peck away at it. Massenberg got hassled enough that he lost the handle and out of bounds. Rasho Nesterovic is out tonight. The final game of his mandatory 5 games on the injured list with a bad ankle. He was working out before tonight's game, and they'll activate him after tonight. This is the first of 7 out on the road for the Spurs, because you know what, Craig? The rodeo's in town.
They get bumped out. That's right. Rodeo is bigger than the Spurs.
Kicked out by a couple of horses. Here's Murray out high on the left. Long-range 20-footer in and out. Rebound grabbed over there by Massenberg. We're tied at 4 in the early going here.
And the reason why San Antonio's defense is so tough, they always pack the lane. You got to get them out of there somehow.
Sonics have hit 2 mid-range jump shot. Bowen comes down and he nails a 3. So Bowen with a mid-range hopper and a 3. And the Spurs on top 7-4. Lewis trying to pry his way away from Bowen on the left side. Hook pass inside to Evans, fronted by Massenberg. Tipped the ball away. Second Sonic turnover. San Antonio on the run. Ginobili with it. From the Bowen, he's had the hot hand. Fakes, drives, gives to Massenberg, and the San Antonio Spurs reset. Massenberg, 12 years in the NBA out of Maryland. Getting the start tonight at center. Parker off the Duncan screen, veers to the right side, brings it back middle, spins away from pressure. Off balance right-hander, catches back rim, and Evans is there for the rebound. He's clipped by Ginobili. Knocked down, tried to sell it to the official, can't. Swings the outlet to Ridnour, and the Sonics are in front court, trailing 7-4. Ridnour over to Murray. Works his way to the baseline, got baseline, Duncan trailing. In the corner it comes to Lewis for three, up and in. We're tied at 7. Great setup by Murray to the open shooter, Lewis.
Well, that's one way you can beat the defense too, Kevin. Hit your outside shots. You want to penetrate and then hit it to the shooters.
7-7 count, 8:22 to go first quarter. Ginobili top of the key. Watching him is Murray. Ginobili off the screen of Duncan. They trail Ginobili into the lane, and he sends in a running lefty, looking off Jerome James just enough to get it up and in.
And I think guys forget. I think Flip forgets he's left-handed because he threw that little left-handed shot up, and Flip never even challenged it.
We'll soon remember. Here's Evans with it, top of the key now. Handoff comes to Ridnour, and again the ever-present Parker right with him. Left side to Lewis, changes his course, spins, fall away jumper over a double team, missing. Rebound volley, Ginobili trying to save it, does, right to James, beneath the rim, laid it up, fouled by Duncan. Jerome James will go to the line on the foul to Tim Duncan. The Sonics staying active, in particular Reggie Evans.
And Kevin, the Spurs, Tim Duncan does it all. He's averaging almost 2 blocks a game, and the Starovich is averaging 1 something. So they're averaging like 6 blocks a game. But Duncan does more on offense. Here you see him setting a screen, getting the shooter Bowen open, and then there it is, a different angle, and then he'll go to the boards. But on defense, he's always standing there, and you're always conscious of where he's at because he'll block your shot.
San Antonio 6th in the league in block shots. James at the line nails 2 free throws. 9-9 count. Good start for the Sonics. 7:40 to go first quarter. Duncan has it high post. Hands off to Ginobili into the lane. Protects the ball with a body. But again, James stands his ground, and Ginobili misses the runner. Rebound to Evans. Outlet to Ridnour. Across the arc, it comes to Murray. Murray circles out on top. And now Greg Popovich is going to get teed up by a native Texan, Jimmy Clark. So Greg Popovich brought out the Texan in Jimmy Clark, and he tees him up immediately.
And Pop is hot under the collar right now. He's wanting the equal calls. He thought Ginobili was fouled on one end, and he thought the travel right here by Flip Murray, he was wanting that called. But if you look right there on that play, Kevin, all of the Spurs, that's why they're a good defensive team. They all run back to the paint first and then go out and attack the offense.
Ridnour hits the technical foul shot, and the Sonics now bring it inbounds with possession and a lead. Ridnour to Murray beyond the three-point arc. Centering pass to Ridnour off an Evans screen. Evans rolls, gets the handle. One dribble, attacks Massenberg and did walk with the basketball. And then we'll give it back to San Antonio on the 3rd Sonic turnover.
So the politicking by Coach Popovich worked because Jimmy Clark calls traveling the next time out.
And it was. Massenberg did a nice job to creep up there on Evans suddenly. And Reggie trying to get by him with the dribble. And now San Antonio in the front court with Parker handling. Waiting for Duncan to screen. Wipes out Ridnour. Parker looking for Duncan to roll, but Ridnour had intertwined himself with Duncan. He wasn't going anywhere, and the pass went by him and out of bounds for the first San Antonio turnover.
And yeah, Duncan was just wrapped up by Luke. Good job on Luke, not letting Duncan run anywhere.
Lewis into the lane. Bumps a pass outside to Murray. Ginobili there to tip it away. Controlled by Massenberg. 4 Sonic turnovers. San Antonio in the front court. Parker with it. Sonics leading 10-9. 6:40 to go here in the first quarter. They crowd Duncan doubling. Out of his hands to Ginobili. Over to Bowen from the corner. He'll raise and hits another 3. Bowen with his second three-pointer of the night. And he is 3 of 3 overall from the field. Ridnour handling. Works across the top of the key. Just pass here to Murray at the near edge. Drops it to Evans in the basement. Faces up on Duncan. 12 to shoot. Rocks in. Comes baseline. Lays it up and in. No! It crawled off the rim. That ball looked like it was going down from here on a reverse. Don't count until it's through the court. And San Antonio will bring it the other way. Parker with it. Top of the key. Circles off the Duncan screen. This time Duncan pops out, but Ridnour got a handle on the ball. Parker discovers the ball and the open shooter. It's Bowen from the corner for a deep 2. Unbelievable. Bruce Bowen hitting 4 for 4, and the Spurs lead 14-10.
He's shooting the lights out right now, Kevin, and the Spurs are looking for him. They're putting him in the corner and rotating the ball.
5:48 to go first quarter, so they're having Lewis play some defense tonight. Lewis will come, he'll screen. Murray off the pick, will fire, miss. Evans keeps it alive, jabbing it away from Massenberg. He's got to save it down there, and does. but did not. He was tripped up out of bounds.
I'll tell you what's interesting about Bruce Bowen. If he's hit a couple of shots at first, he'll continue to shoot. But if he's missed a couple, he won't continue to shoot. And you can tell right now, he's 4 for 4. He's going to let it go tonight.
Bowen, the veteran, he knows when to say when, that's for sure. Now he's 9th year out of Cal State Fullerton. And if he doesn't know, Pop will tell him. Spurs lead 14-10 on FS.
NBA basketball.
10, 5:37 to go in the first quarter of play.
Well, Kevin, he's much better known for playing defense because he's such a solid physical player. Guys really hate playing against him, but like we said, if he hits a couple of shots, he's not afraid to shoot. He's only shooting 37% from three-point land and 43% from the field overall for only 6 or 8.3 points a game. So you can easily see why teams overlook him and leave him alone. And if he's standing alone, I think anybody can really knock down shots.
Early trend, San Antonio 6 of 9, Sonics 3 of 8 turnovers. The Sonics 5 and the Spurs 1 points in the paint, 2 love. Sonics have the edge in that category. Here come the San Antonio Spurs, shooting 6 of 9. And Parker worked his way across midcourt with a crab dribble. Hands off to Robert Horry beyond the three-point arc, met by Evans. 12 to shoot. Horry with the ball above the head. Comes to the top of the key, gives to Duncan. One dribble and up top. A mid-range jumper is good for Tim Duncan. And the Spurs open up a 6-point lead. Duncan with his first bucket in his first attempt. 7-0 San Antonio run.
And if you ask me why Tim Duncan is an MVP candidate all the time, that's right there, the mid-range game.
Murray coming off the screen from James. Works his way through defenders into the paint. Gives to Lewis. Hook pass out of the corner. Murray for the J. That's short. Rebound to Bowen. So Murray filling in tonight for Allen. 0 for 3 to start it. He picks up Parker in the front court with the handle. Loops it back out on top of the key with Horry. On a dribble weave handoff to Ginobili for 3. No go. All Sonics on the rebound. Murray with it. Got ahead to Rednour. Angles to the center of the floor. Luke will delay, comes off the James screen. James rolls, gets in the middle of the paint. One giant step, got by Horry. Hooks and scores on a running 8-foot hook. What a move.
The Sonics definitely have to utilize the pick and roll, and you want to get it above the free throw line to draw the big guys out.
Spurs on top, 16-12. Ginobili now crowded and doubled by James and Murray. Gets rid of it to Bowen again from 3, missed. Rebound volleyed away from Horry and controlled by Jerome James. Sonics bring it out of backcourt.
I was just going to say, I think he missed because there was a hand in his face finally.
Finally. Rednour off the pick from James, rolls to the baseline. Crowding him is Parker. They give it back to Jerome. Slings one up, but it wouldn't go. Air ball, in fact, out of bounds. San Antonio will take possession. And the Sonics will bring in their bench. Vladimir Radmanovic will step in. A Geico quote from Jerome James on his role with the Sonics. There's some games where I can be effective, and this team will need me. And there's some games you will not even go play. Well, tonight they definitely need him in the matchup against Tim Duncan. And so far, Jerome James has kept himself out of foul trouble. He does not have 1 personal foul, but does have 4 points and 2 rebounds. He's done a nice job. Spurs lead by 4. Duncan with the top of the key. Dribble handoff to Parker, met by Rednour. Red Berry in the lineup now, circling off the screen, set by Horry. Lost the handle on the ball, bounces low to Duncan, turns, drives, reverse pivot, high hook up, off back rim, rebound grab by Radmanovic. Lottie will leave it for Murray. Sonics have Murray, Rednour, Lewis, James, and Radmanovic on the floor. Vladdy in the corner, pump fakes, drives the baseline, skips it across the inline to Lewis. Out to Luke, sets, fires a 3, had to hurry, it missed it. James keeps it alive, comes down with a rebound. At the free throw line, one dribble, attacks the rim, and finger rolls it in. He took it right at Robert Horry and towering above him to lay it in. Hustle play by JJ.
Holy cow, JJ, I didn't know you had that in you to put the ball, fight for the ball, first of all, and then take it right to the rim. An impressive move.
San Antonio leads it by 2, 16-14. Well, he mentioned it. Some nights, you know, hey, I'm not in the building. Other nights, I will be recognized, as he says right here. Spurs lead 16-4 as we go to break on FSN. Busy here tonight, and the Sonics are within 2 with 3:16 to go here in the first quarter. 16-14 count.
I'm going to take you back to December 8th when we were in San Antonio. That little encounter he had with Tim Duncan at the end of the 4th quarter, which gave him a technical, but he had a big, huge defensive stop that got this team fired up.
He and Duncan started chatting, shall we say. Parker misses a 15-footer, rattles in and out, rebound to Radmanovic. AD is in the lineup now for the Sonics along with Murray at guard. AD spins off the James screen. James slow to roll, gets it top of the key. 15-footer straight away. Got it! Oh, he's on tonight. Jerome James straight away. 15-footer knocks it down. Pretty as you please. And the Sonics have tied it 16-16. James with 8 points. And now he comes in behind Massenberg to defend a pass and jabs it out of bounds. He's giving the Sonics the kind of start that they dreamed about here, staying even with San Antonio.
Well, I've had conversations with Jerome, and he's always said, hey, I'm going to do what I have to help the team. And tonight, he's doing it offensively, and he's also playing defense for the Sonics.
Spurs have Duncan on the bench right now. Parker with it at the near edge. Checked by Antonio Daniels. Bounces low to Ori. Parker goes to the rim and laid it up and in. Radmanovic, for some reason, didn't rotate over. And up come the Sonics now with the Spurs leading by 2. Here, Vlade didn't even see Parker coming his way. He has it out high on the left side now. He's checked by Ori. Vlade will bounce over to Murray. Murray one-on-one on Brent Berry. Crosses over. Fires up a shot that caught glass. Nothing more. He's 0 for 4. Had a tough time here early. Looks like he's hurrying his shot again as he was at the beginning of the year. Parker outside to Berry for 3. That one off the back rim. Long rebound gathered in by Daniels. Daniels will high step into front court. Hold, wait, now drive to the glass. Lays it in between 2 defenders to Radmanovic for a deep 2, and that goes off the rim. Aimlessly. Rebound grabbed by Berry. Up the floor, changes course into the lane. Shovels the Bowen trailing. He'll fire and miss short. Rebound tipped out by Lewis. Grabbed by Parker. Will go right to him and lay it in easily.
Kevin, that's the stat I'm really confused with points in the paint. Now, Tony Parker just scored in the paint. Well, the Spurs are pretty good. They average about 43 points in there. But Tony Parker penetrates. Tim Duncan shoots jumpers in there. That's how they get points in the paint.
20-16 count. Here's Murray trying to attack the rim. Nice job on the dribble to try to sell Brent Berry to move to the middle and then spun back baseline. Elevated, tried to pack it. Drew the foul and will go to the line for 2 shots. Friends, stay tuned after the game as we wrap up all the action from the key. Plus, we'll take a look into Rick Neuheisel's trial and meet Leanne, one of the Sonics dancers. It's all tonight after the game on FSN Live.
Now, when I was driving to the game, listening to Gas and Graz, they said that the trial was still going on. And they were supposed to talk to Hugh Millen about it. And they still hadn't released him yet at 5 o'clock or something like that. So,
well, I'm sure it'll be on the Abrams report tonight. And then don't miss Hardball with Chris Matthews when he'll have most of the Husky coaching staff on there with him in a roundtable debate with our good buddy William F. Butler or something like that. Murray hits one of the 2 free throws. Parker comes the other way, feeds outside to Bowen. Over in the corner to Brent for 3. That one's in and out. Rebound tip, grabbed by Daniels on the run. He has Lewis on the left side. Angles into the lane, makes contact with Brent. Try to lay it up, left it short. We have a whistle. And a foul called. 2 shots to Daniels. And the foul whistled on Brent Berry.
This is definitely another way you can attack a good defensive team is beat them down the floor before they can set up. And that's what Antonio Daniels does. He attacks and Brent tries to set up and can't get there in time. And now Antonio's going to go to the free throw line.
Look like Bones is backpedaling. And you talk about 2 guys that give up the body for charges. You're talking about Berry and Antonio Daniels. And these guys, I mean, these aren't, by NBA standards, these aren't huge guys. They take care of themselves. But they get hit hard a lot. They fall hard a lot. And they are still able to maintain a 12-point average in the case of Daniels. 2019 count. The Spurs lead it by 1 as AD drops a couple there. 48 seconds left in the first quarter in a good game. Ori at the top of the key with a chest pass to Bowen on the left side. Other than Parker's 2 lay-ins, Spurs on the offensive end haven't had a whole lot going. Parker comes off the screen of Ori, elevates for the jump shot. That's off the front rim, and the rebound eludes Fortune. It's grabbed by Ori, however, who got airborne, drew the foul, and bank hooked it up and in.
Well, that guy, he's got how many championship rings? 2 at Houston, 2 at LA. I mean, he's in there battling, I think, and he was with the San Antonio.
The San Antonio for one of them, so we're up to 5 now.
He's up to 5, and here he just attacks the inside position, steals the basketball from the Sonics, and then goes straight back up with it. And draws the foul and goes to the free throw line. That's the kind of veteran you want to have on your team.
Ori will turn 35 in the summer, and the free throws up and in. But who's counting, right? Not his employers. 3-point play for Ori. He just keeps coming back every year. 23-19 the count. Spurs on top. 25 seconds to go first quarter. Daniels comes across midcourt, net by Parker. 13 to shoot, 20 on the game clock. Daniels off the screen down the right side. Stops in the air, whirls it outside of Romanovich over to Murray. He's due, and he collects a three-pointer for Murray. Murray on the left side after missing his first four badly. Nails this one to put the Sonics to within one. Spurs with 6. Spurs with 5. Parker with 4. Down the left side with 3. DeBerry with 2 of 3 is off the mark. Fortune deflects the rebound. Massenberg grabs it, lays it in, and scores at the buzzer.
And usually Danny Fortune's hands are like vacuum cleaners. I mean, he sucks everything up, and that one just came right out of his hand, right to Massenberg, right in time to put the ball in. They're going to review it, but that ball was in.
Upon further review, the basket will count. And the score, the Spurs 25 and the Sonics 22. Take a look at it one more time. What do you say there, Craig? You think it's good?
I think the ball is out of his hands right there. No red light. Ball's already on the backboard. Definitely. They're going to review it, but it's going to count. And the Sonics, like I said, they've done a good job all season long of giving teams just one shot. And Danny Fortune's usually sure-handed in there, just lost that basketball.
Berry's 3 is off the mark, but it appears that Massenberg got it up and in, pending review. And at the end of one, it's San Antonio 25 and the Sonics. Virginia Mason. Welcome back to Seattle. Just underway, second quarter play. The Spurs leading the Sonics 25-22. We'll set the lineups in a moment. Ori with it now, covered by Nick Collison on the floor for the first time for Seattle. Cross-court pass to Berry. Brings it back here to the near side of Ginobili. Whirls through a crowd out to Ori for 3. That one in and out. Ginobili seals off AD for the rebound and brings it outside for a look at a 3. He'll raise up but won't take the shot. Beno Udrih will get the handle up top. The rookie from Slovenia playing point guard for the Spurs this year. He'll be able to whistle off the ball. It's a foul on Collison of Seattle.
He'll only be known for the guy that fell on Karolinko's knee and sprained his knee. That's who did it, Beno Udrih.
He's been a very dependable third, fourth guard, if you will, for San Antonio Spurs, alternating with Devin Brown and Brent Berry earlier in the year. And then Udrih getting a lot of play at the point. You can see right now they've got Ginobili, Berry, and Udrih on the floor. Ginobili driving into the lane, drifts to the glass, laid it in with a right hand, and drew the foul. He's as good a slasher as there is in the NBA.
He really is, and he sets it up with taking a few shots from the outside mostly, but the guy is so quick. Good crossover right here, fake. Got Vladimir off of his feet and then used the right hand. That's a solid right hand because he's left-handed.
Spurs went out on a limb, didn't they, this summer? They re-signed Parker and gave Ginobili a new good contract. That's really going out on a limb, taking a big chance. Shelled out something like a combined $110 million for the two. I think it's a pretty good return on the investment. Murray drifts into the corner handling. Checked by Brent Berry, dribbles into a turnover. Too much dribbling. And you play right into San Antonio's hands when you stand and dribble, or even when you move and dribble without purpose. 6 turnovers on the Sonics.
You talk about Tony Parker and Mono. Those are long-term investments, too. These guys are young.
Yeah, good investments. Down low, Massenberg goes to work. Turns, bumps, hooks, missed it. Collison into the void with a rebound. Outlet pass to Murray. Into front court. Change of pace crossover. Udrih doesn't bite. Swings it outside, and AD will take it. AD, Collison, Romanovich, Fortune, and Murray on the floor. Daniels, great pass to Collison into the lane. Hammered by Massenberg, who clipped him up around the shoulders. But not enough intensity there for a flagrant. And Collison will go to the line for 2 shots.
And we talked earlier in the night, or in our pregame, Kevin, the bench was big in both of the previous wins. Right now, with Collison on the floor, Vladimir on the floor, Fortune on the floor, and Antonio, the bench is out there, so they got to come up big for the Sonics.
And that's a primary reason that he started Murray tonight. The coaching staff, Dwayne Casey, associate head coach, on the bench tonight as the head coach. They decided they wanted to keep that bench rotation intact and not disrupt it at all. Murray obviously has had some experience in starting games last year. 2 free throws by Collison are good. Sonics are within 4. And now we've got Fortune defending Udrih into the lane. Passes him over to Collison. He finds an open man on the wing. It's Ginobili for 3, and he zips it in there. Great pass by Udrih. Outside of Ginobili for 3.
And usually a coach will yell at you for leaving your feet because then you got to make the pass. You got to have somebody out there. Ginobili was out there.
Daniels tried to slide a pass low to Fortune, broken up by Udrih. He's got the steal. Into front court to Berry. Hippity hop into the lane. Wheels it outside of Ginobili. Crossing over right to left, breaking ankles all the while. Over to Udrih for the pop out of the corner, no. Rebound Massenberg, no. Rebound Massenberg, no. Cleared out by Collison, tipped by Fortson, grabbed by Ori. Control to Barry, down low to Ginobili, and finally scoring on a reverse. And San Antonio surgically picking the Sonics apart on the offensive end in that series. And Dwayne Casey has seen enough. He says we better put a tourniquet on it because the Sonics have fallen behind by 9.
The turnover led to all this. 3 opportunities by the Spurs after the Sonics turnover. And then did you see the ball movement? That was just beautiful ball movement. Brent Barry never even hardly touched that ball to get that ball to Ginobili.
Spurs on top by a 33-24 count. Seattle 33-24. Let's go down to Cameron Wong joining us tonight with a Super Bowl prediction. How brave of him.
This being Super Bowl week, we got to talk a little football here. Marcus Trufant in the audience. So, Marcus, who's going to win the Super Bowl this week?
You know it's going to be a big game. Patriots, they look real good, but I'm pulling for the Eagles. That's what I'm going for.
Are you pulling for the Eagles because the Patriots, well, beat the Seahawks?
Yep. I'm going for the Eagles. I want the Eagles to get back for us. You know what I'm saying?
That's Marcus Trufant pulling for the NFC, guys.
Well, Danny Fortson muscles his way inside on an offensive rebound, put his shoulder into Duncan, who collapses, and a foul call on Fortson is second. That after a terrific drive by Radmanovich getting to the cup, but extending the right hand on the run, could not roll it over Tim Duncan. Sean Marks is in now for San Antonio, along with Duncan, the New Zealander. We've got him from all over the globe. Slovenia, Argentina, New Zealand. Duncan from St. Croix, Virgin Islands. Brent Barry's from Northern California. As we all know, is a country in and of itself. Here's Duncan leading in. Hard banker over Collison, in and out, and a foul on Nick. Sonics are down 33-24 with 9:05 to go in the second period.
Well, the Spurs are getting very many opportunities after they shoot the first shot. The second chance points are killing them right now, but that all comes from second effort. They are just pursuing the basketball.
And the Sonics, previous to Radmanovich's running right-hander, had not had a shot in the opening 3 minutes. But not attempted one. They had turned the ball over twice. Devin Brown now comes in for San Antonio. The Sonics bench is very good. The San Antonio bench is very good. They have varied skills. This team can play small. They can play big. When they have Rasha Nesterovic, they can really load up and play big. They're not as mobile, obviously. Rasha doesn't have that flexibility. John Marks, Tony Massenberg, veterans, they've been around. They know what to do, what not to do.
Well, you said the key word is team. They are definitely a team. They are solid 1 through 9, and they use everybody. And right now, Tim Duncan, he's not even leading the team in scoring.
Duncan splits a pair of free throws. It's a 10-point San Antonio lead. Yeah, he hadn't done anything from that standpoint. James comes into the lineup. He has screens for Daniels for 3, missed it. James hustles after the rebound in the corner. 1-on-1 on Duncan. 21 to shoot. They're saying move it. Screaming from the bench. He has other ideas. Backing into the paint. Turn around and hits the jump shot.
And taking it right at one of the best defenders in the league.
And Dwayne Casey won't hear of it. He says, that's not your shot. Move the ball. 34-26 count. Udrih fires and misses. Rebound comes to Devin Brown. He's tied up by Ridnour. And a foul call on Ridnour. Holy smokes. Ridnour just trying to get the ball. He was along for a ride. Well, when you're the aggressor, you get the calls, and very definitely Seattle is on their heels a little bit here. They're hanging tough down 8 with 8:22 to go in the second quarter. We've just got to stay close by half. Ginobili feeds to Duncan, goes to work, whirls in, stops, cross court to Bowen, Drew Lewis into the air. The extra pass to Devin Brown. Devin 2 dribbles to Udrih. 3 dribbles into the lane, pulls up, going lefty, laid it up over. James wouldn't go. Rebound batted, controlled by Udrih. He comes away with it after Duncan had tipped it outside. Udrih goes to work. Bounces with it on the low right block. Backing down is Duncan. Turns. Muscles out a pass to Brown. A float one up and out. Rebound to Ginobili. Ginobili works it to the baseline. He'll feed one up there. Missed it. Rebound to Devin Brown. Triple team. Got up the shot. Missed it. Rebound volley. Grabbed by Duncan. He'll get into the air. Laid it up. No. Lewis finally hauls it down. 6 cracks at it for San Antonio. Ridnour the other way to Radmanovich. Into the lane. He's fouled. He hit a shot, but they won't give him a continuation. He was fouled on the floor. Bucket will not count. Nor will there be shots allowed. How many attempts did San Antonio get there? I counted 6. David's got 5. What do you got?
I thought it was 6 opportunities there. It was amazing, though. It seemed like the Sonics were just standing and watching as the Spurs were going after every ball.
I got dizzy on that replay. I lost count. Sonics possession. Daniels on the left side. Covered by Ginobili. Spins back, step, flouted, gives to James. Turnaround jumper. Good! Jerome James with a hopper in the paint. That's the one he has to take with 1 on the shot clock. The bailout shot. Sonics within 6 at 34-28. 7:03 to go in the second.
Right now, Jerome might be the go-to guy. You might want to post him up a few times.
Ginobili into the lane, circles down the left side of the lane, pump fakes, but collects himself, leans to the hole and scores. 36-28 count. Rednour off the screen, got caught in the air, but finds Radmanovic to the left side. He'll guide one in. A deep 2 by Radmanovic. Stanley just drive the three-point arc.
And the high pick and roll will work against the San Antonio Spurs because you draw Tim Duncan out away from the basket. And if you get around the corner like Luke did, then you throw it right back to your shooters and let them shoot the basketball. But Ginobili, boy, this guy can play, Kevin. He has all the moves when he goes to the basket. And then here's Luke, Radman bailing Luke out with a long shot and an assist.
6:43 to go in the half. 36-30. Spurs lead the Sonics. Tonight, 6 of 8 shooting, 12 points for JJ.
And just like Bruce Bowen started out, kind of the unknown player on the Spurs, well, Jerome James is too. But look at this, 20 and 8 when James scores in double figures. Tonight he's got 12. So the Sonics have something going if they go to Jerome.
Sonics 11 and 2 in the last 13 games in which he has scored in double figures. And he crowds Duncan and blocks a shot on the baseline. JJ with a rejection, and he did it softly. He did it smartly, getting into the hands of Lewis, and the Sonics with the possession, bringing up the floor, trailing by 6. High on the left side is AD. Working off the James screen, he picks up the dribble, terminates, gives to Lewis, top of the key, galloping dribble. Covered by Bowen, and a shove committed by Bowen, and a foul on Bowen. That's his first.
Well, JJ, he's going to play defense, and he loves playing defense, first of all, and he's got such a long frame, he can just stand there behind Tim Duncan, and then if he just gets his arms up, he's got a long wingspan, and then this is what good shot blockers do. Now, he didn't get a real hand on that block, but it was enough to keep the ball in play for the Sonics to take it and take it down to the other end.
13th foul, Sonics bringing it bounce. Rednour off the screen, elevates for the jump shot, missed it, follows his own miss, but Parker grabs the rebound, and he speeds down the floor. Swings it to Devin Brown. Back outside to Parker. Rednour recovers. He's up in front of Parker with 17 to shoot. Duncan comes out to screen. Parker off the pick. Drives into the lane. Loops it outside of Ginobili. Drives into the lane to the glass. Scoops and scores with a left hand. Manu Ginobili. Once he breaks down that first line of defense and has a full head of steam, it's tough for a big guy to get a grip on the dude.
And he's going to his strong hand. He's left-handed, so he's taking the ball from the right side of the floor across the lane. He's very comfortable doing that.
14 for Manu, 6 of 10. Radmanovic hit him with a screen right in the chops. He fights through the pick, collects Daniels, but he fakes him out, goes by, sends up a soft running right-hander that just crawled off the rim. Rebound to Bowen, to Rednour, up to Ginobili, releasing into the lane to the glass, laid it up. James came down there, made it a tough decision. Ginobili misses the shot. Rednour catches the ball coming inbounds from James. And I guess that's why there was no violation. Lewis to the baseline. Stops, tried to pitch it outside. It hit Duncan in the hands and then hit the back of the glass and was out of bounds. Some wild plays here. 5:03 left in the second. Spurs lead 38-30.
And good recognition by the Spurs. They saw Richard taking Tim Duncan and didn't. Bruce Bowen just ran down as fast as he could to cut him off, and then Richard had nowhere to go.
Sonic shooting 42%, Spurs 39. Rednour with a handle. Moving it. The width of the floor with Parker on him. Circles, comes off the James screen, drift down the right wings across court. Lewis elevates for 3 off the front rim. Rebound Karam is collected in there by Tony Parker. 4:49 left here in the first half. Parker drives into the lane, spins away from Rednour. James waiting for him, blocks the shot. Tony trying to get it back from Jerome, deflects it out of bounds. James with a couple of fine blocks. He's on fire in 15 minutes. 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks.
And when you spin, you lose sight of the defense, and Jerome comes right over and gets his hand up and blocks Tony Parker's shot easy.
Sonics bringing up Rednauer center of the court. Waiting for Romanovich to screen high. Off the pick now, Romanovich goes away, bringing Parker with him. They lob over the top, give to Romanovich, tied up with Parker. One dribble by him, a little backhand scoop is up and in as he got by Duncan with that size. And the Sonics pulled him within 6 on a Bloody bucket.
And you got to take advantage of that. Tony Parker switches out on a bigger guy. You got to go right to that.
38-32, San Antonio possession and the lead. Duncan, high post, hands off to Devin Brown. Brown crosses over, goes baseline, back outside of Duncan, running at him as AD, forcing him to dribble. He did, put it on the floor, leaned in and scored from 12 feet on the right side.
Puts it on the floor one time and gets a shot off. That's pretty good.
8-point Spur lead. Ridnour handling, directing traffic. With Romanovich out of the vicinity. Throws low to Lewis on the basement floor. Double teamed outside to Daniels at the point. Down low to JJ. Rocking, getting his momentum turned. Try to step through. Can't. Got off the shot. Good defense. Lewis collects the rebound and lays it up and in.
Well, Jerome was not very comfortable going the way he wanted to shoot the basketball. He wanted to turn back, but Duncan took that away from him. He went ahead and shot it. Richard had offensive rebound position.
Spurs by 6, 40-34. Parker handles. Lewis follows Ginobili off of a Duncan screen. The two make contact. Ginobili goes down. Lewis is called with a foul. And he comes over and he has a very, very animated conversation with the official, Mark Mayotte.
I have a feeling Richard said something to the sense of, hey, he's playing me the same way down there. He's grabbing me by the waist when I try to run. So call it on both ends.
Ginobili's free throw rolls away and off the mark. Fans with the Sonics Pacific Division 4 pack, you'll see some of the biggest stars in the NBA. Check out Steve Nash, Chris Webber, Kobe Bryant. Mini plans 206-283 dunk, 206-283 dunk. Ginobili misses both free throws and the Sonics get the rebound. 40-34 the count. Spurs on top by 6. Angling over for the ball in the front court. Murray beyond the three-point arc. 11 to shoot. Murray creeps down off the screen from James, down to the baseline. Duncan there, try to feed in the corner, denied by Ginobili. Tip. Murray came up and it finds Romanovich. Got to get off the shot. Did with 1 on the shot clock. It clangs off short. Sonics have got to fight for every opportunity on the offensive end. 29 shots attempted. The Spurs have fired off 43. Spurs by 6, however. 2:44 to go in the half. Ginobili again down the left side, protects the ball with the body. Missed the shot, but this time drew 2 defenders onto him, leaving Duncan open for the rebound putback.
Sonics, you're right, Kevin. They have to be more efficient in their offense. They're having to throw up shots at the end of the shot clock. They got to run something that'll get them there.
Romanovich on the post-up, gets by Devin Brown, tried to tuck it in on the backside on a reverse. It wouldn't go. Rebounded Duncan up the floor to Devin Brown, runs up the center of the floor to the glass and laid it in. Spurs by 10 again. Spurs have outscored the Sonics 14-8 in second chance points tonight. Despite shooting 41%, they hold a 10-point lead because they have had 16 more opportunities than the Sonics from the field. A 20-second timeout was initially indicated, and now a full timeout called here in Seattle. With 2:11 remaining in the half, our score: the Spurs 44 and the Sonics 34. Spurs are on a roll. How about that for a news flash? 2:11 left in the second quarter. They've taken a 10-point lead on the shorthanded Sonics, 44-34 tonight. And Craig, they're doing it with hustle here tonight.
And they really are. Everybody is so conscious of Tim Duncan that they're just trying to surround him when the rebound goes up and not let him get it. And when he does that, everybody else is getting their hands on it. And then the Sonics are caught standing watching. And the Spurs are getting shot after shot after shot. Now this time they didn't score, but they had 6 opportunities, so they're just out hustling the Sonics right now. They have 12 offensive rebounds compared to the Sonics 6, and 14 points for second chance points compared to the Sonics 8, and then points off of turnovers 6. You said they only got 1 turnover, so the Sonics couldn't have any points off of turnovers.
1 turnover committed by the San Antonio Spurs. And Tim Duncan has scored just 7 points with 6 opportunities at the goal. He's hit 3 shots in 17 minutes. 41% for the Spurs, and the Sonics shooting 40%, but 16 more field goal attempts than the Supersonics. Ridnour handling it now at the point. Sonics down 10, 2 minutes left. 2 minutes even here in the half remaining. Romanovich goes to work on Brown. Blows by, but there's Duncan, who blocks a pass attempt outside. Just snuffed it and sends it into the first row. Sonics will get it, but with 3 on the shot clock, AD will come in to get Rashard Lewis. Lewis, 7 points scoring on 3 of 5 shooting in 19 minutes. Leading scorer has been Jerome James in 18 minutes with 12. In case you're just joining us, Ray Allen is out with the flu. That's 24 points out of your lineup. Here's Rednour on the inbound, fires one up, an air ball, and a 24-second shot clock violation. And one other note, Coach, moreover, Nate McMillan lost his mother over the weekend. She passed away, Raleigh, North Carolina. Nate is not on the bench, in case he is. It may be some time before we get Nate back. He will not be with the Sonics tomorrow when they travel to Sacramento. Ray Allen, however, is going to see how he feels tomorrow. May join the team in Sac, flying there tomorrow. We'll see Duncan set out on the left side, jabs, recoils, elevates. Oh, the patented bank from a wicked angle, about 15 feet out, just a smooch right through the hole. Terrific bank.
Just teasing Jerome with that little jab, jab, jab. I could have told you he was going to shoot the bank shot. You could hit the angle we had.
Everybody knew. Everybody knew it was coming. Rednour to the baseline, lean in hook, rimming, won't go. Parker in there battling for the rebound, so is Luke. Parker rips it away, spins away from Rednour, hippity hop dribble across midcourt, behind the back, collects it, swings it outside of Redberry, back to Parker in the corner. What a display that was by Parker. As quick as there is in-line to in-line in the league with a dribble. Parker is shadowed by Romanovich, wiped out on a Duncan screen. Parker into the lane. Creates, kicks, Bowen the 3, in and out. James collects the rebound. Sonics trail, 46-34. 43 seconds left in the half now. AD will bring it into front court. Met by Devin Brown. Then Duncan on the baseline. Trying to squeeze a pass between defenders. You don't want to do that against San Antonio. Another Sonic turnover. Bowen to Barry to Duncan to Bowen. Lay it up and in.
Well, the Sonics just have no continuity in their offense, Kevin. And it's costing them because every time they try to do something, they turn the basketball over.
Spurs on an 8-0 run, Craig. 48-34. That was sudden and lethal. 15 seconds left in the half. Sonics hanging with San Antonio up until, what, about a minute and a half ago. Rednour into the lane. Challenges Duncan, and Duncan again exerts his immeasurable force on the defensive end of the block. Barry trying to dribble up the floor, had it tipped away, and that'll end the half. The half ends with Duncan getting a couple of very impressive stops on the defensive end.
That is why the Spurs only hold teams to 86 points, and then on the offensive end, they're just killing the Sonics with extra opportunities, and that's why the lead's built up to 14, Kevin.
48-34 at half. The Spurs lead the Supersonics. Let's head down now to Brad Adams.
All right, Kevin, thanks a lot. Here with assistant coach Bob Wise, doing a nice job defensively on Duncan, not getting the flow you want on offense. How do you correct that in the second half?
Well, we've got to get point production. We're not going to hold this team to 67 points, so we've got to score more points. Second chance points have been killing us. Their shooting percentage is actually low, 40%. But we don't want to give them the kickouts for the three-pointers. We want Duncan to earn his, and then we've got to have somebody step forward offensively.
All right, we'll look forward to that in the second half. Thanks, Bob. Okay. All right, got to hit the boards for the second half, Kevin.
Sonics scored 12 points in the quarter, and at halftime, they're outmatched by the San Antonio Spurs, 48-34. We'll be right back on FSN. Turn the ball over.
They can't turn the ball over. And then the other thing is, don't give San Antonio so many opportunities at the basket.
Pick and roll, Duncan into the lane, challenged by James, got a piece of it, but it was well on its way coming down. It's goaltending, and the bucket will count. And Duncan will pick up his 11 points on the night, 5 of 8 shooting. 10-0 San Antonio run carried back to that second quarter. Lewis into the lane trying to break that snap. Rams into Duncan, no whistle. Loops up a shot. Parker comes the other way, driving to the rim. Rednour fights over in front of him, strips him of the ball as he went up. Those are two guys with hands serpentine-like. I mean, this guy's got hands like, what, a coral reef snake, and the other guy's got hands like a cobra. Who's going to win that one? Let's see. Watch this. Wow. Wham. I mean, you got to slow that thing way down, don't you? Just to see that hand get in there.
And what a matchup. We didn't even talk about that, really. These two guys, they match speed for speed. And then ball handling for ball handling. I mean, this is a good matchup to watch. And right now, Tony's got the best in, obviously, points. And I've seen him wrestle the ball away from Luke a couple of times, but Luke, hey, he's a fighter, so he's gonna take the challenge.
Parker hits a couple of free throws. 52-34 the count. I know somebody's going to email me and says, a coral reef snake in actuality, Mr. Calabro, is a very slow-moving circle. Rebound grab by Evans. He'll lay it up and in. Evans grabbed the offensive rebound and the putback. And the foul is on Ginobili, who clipped him upside the head.
And there might be an answer, too, for the Sonics, getting Reggie Evans involved and using his energy and enthusiasm to get back in this game.
52-36, San Antonio, a minute gone by here in the third quarter. And Evans' free throw, a 50-50 deal. He knocks it down.
And that's about the only downfall I see in Reggie is his free throw shooting. He's not in games at the end of the game because of that.
How about no points and 17 rebounds at Golden State the other night? Was that something else?
That was awesome.
That was a great performance. Duncan in low on the block. Turns, cross court, it comes to Bowen. Dips his knees as if to take the shot, doubled. Throws to Parker over to Ginobili and drills a three. Anytime you run out at a San Antonio Spurs shooter, they don't challenge you. They get rid of it because they know somebody's open.
They just move the ball so beautifully from one guy to the next.
18-point lead. James turns, faces up on Massenberg from the angle, trying to do it like Duncan does it. Short. Rebound to Bowen. Out to Parker. Tony will circle back outside. Gives the nod to Duncan. Comes off the Duncan screen. Sidearms a pass to Ginobili. Pump fakes, drives. In the clutter, he kicks to Parker for the set shot. He got it. Tony Parker with a jump shot.
And really no offense that San Antonio runs other than guys just quick and getting into the lane and then kicking it out to the guys that are standing there waiting to shoot the basketball.
Spurs on top by 20. 10 minutes to go, third quarter. Murray looking for Lewis coming to the ball. Lewis at the edge will get it. He's double teamed and there's a whistle. Illegal defensive 3 seconds. Whistled on Tim Duncan. He points at Jimmy Clark and says, "You got me."
And it's funny, even as when I played, Kevin, if we had that rule, I would still argue that, well, there's a guy standing right there, and everybody does it. No one's never in the wrong in the 3 seconds, and that's a tough call. I mean, it's hard for an official to see.
He didn't cleanse himself, though.
He didn't clean. That's true.
You got to cleanse yourself. You got to reach out and touch somebody coming across there.
That's right. And he was pointing, though, like he did, though.
You got to make a little contact, then you get a 2.9. And you got to go get somebody else. Here's Rednauer with it, and that's the extent of my understanding of that rule. Here's Rednauer off the Lewis pick. Rednauer directing the flow with 3 to shoot. Get it off Luke. He will. A running right-hander from the left side. Did raise the iron. Bowen comes down with it. Ahead to Parker. Into the lane. Ginobili to the glass. Blocked by James. Give him kudos for the hustle. They're going to rule it goaltending again. And Ginobili sprawls into the photographer. They're both all right. Ginobili now with a cracker box night of 19 points, 8 of 14.
Well, the Sonics are just setting the Spurs up with running the shot clock down and then having to throw up a shot and then breaking out of there and getting an easy basket on the other end.
Cracker Jack is what he was trying to say. It's a 21-point San Antonio lead. 9:20 to go third quarter. Murray, a 15-footer, got it. Murray with a sudden pull-up jumper. Beautiful, like silver. 2 of 7 shooting, however, and he missed his first 5 attempts on the night. He looked mechanical and stiff with it. Parker coming off the Duncan screen. That's a flat shot that won't go. Massenberg ties up Evans, and a foul called on Tony Massenberg. Third foul on Massenberg. And the Sonics trailing by 19 will get possession with 9 minutes to go here in this third quarter play. The Sonics tomorrow in Sacramento to take on the Kings, who yesterday in a matinee in Minneapolis, Minnesota, without Stojakovic and Weber, defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves, who I'm told are not good in day games. Apparently not.
Not good, huh? They sleep at night or sleep during the day and play at night, huh?
Well,
something like that.
Something like that. Here's Rednauer coming off the Lewis screen, changes direction beautifully. Hands off to Murray on the baseline. Circles, great handoff in the clutter to Evans. He lays it in lefty. He drew the foul. Evans will go to the line. That is a heart and hustle play right there by the Supes. Evans will go to the line.
And that had some substance, Kevin. A couple of guys touched the ball, a couple of good picks. Luke penetrates, throws it to Flip, and then Flip throws it back to Reggie. That's the kind of movement you got to have against a good defensive team.
Well, San Antonio playing their first of 7 out on the road. They finally are back home. But get this, February the 23rd against Houston. Evans hits the free throw for a 3-point play. The rodeo, as we mentioned in the first half, is in San Antonio at the SBC Center. Ginobili into the lane outside to Parker for the jumper. Got it. Again, Ginobili slashes and kicks to Parker for a mid-range jumper at an angle. He has 12 points. 4 Spurs in double-figure scoring, and San Antonio leads by 18 now. Murray into the lane. No stop, pop, and a shot blocked by Ginobili. Recovered by Parker. Speedy up the floor. Circling outside, cross court to Bowen on the wing. Bring it back out on top to Parker. Duncan races out to screen. He'll roll. Parker bounces to Duncan. The extra pass to Bowen. Drives baseline. Lean in jumper. Too strong over the rim. Recovered by Lewis. It's off to Rednour. Look at Popovich's face. He raised his eyebrows, cocked his head after he witnessed that shot. How can a guy shoot it so well in the first, and then he throws that up? Here's Murray in the lane. Nice pass to James rolling down the right side. He wanted it. Murray got it to him, but it was maybe a little too hot for him. Came across the chest, couldn't handle it out of bounds. It'll be Spur ball.
But you can tell the Spurs have played together for so long because they just move the basketball to one another. They know where everybody is on the floor, and they play as a team. And I mean, if you have to, you go to Duncan, right? If you have to post him up, you can do that. But they're not having to do that.
Parker into the lane. Hard dribble drive. Missed the lane. Massenberg deflects the rebound. Evans comes up with it. Murray will take it into front court with the Sonics trailing by 18. Murray pins Ginobili on a screen, but made that extra dribble that cost him in the traffic. Put it off at Duncan. It rolls to Parker up to Ginobili. Oh, Ginobili goes down. Wow, he went in there so hard. You could see him maybe just turn the ankle slightly, and then he just buckled beneath the rim. Parker, in the meantime, drives into the lane. Drew the body of James, who sends him down, but he converts and scores. Ginobili just goes over there immediately to the Spur bench. Or will go over. He hustles back to defend Lewis as the Sonics call a timeout. 20-point San Antonio lead. 7:03 to go in the third quarter. Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs are down 0-2 to the Sonics this year. And they are everywhere. We'll be right back with the Spurs leading the Sonics by 20 on FSN.
NBA pregame. Now we get to talk to his better half, Aaron, during the game. And Quinn, how are you guys doing? Enjoying being back here in Seattle? How you like San Antonio?
Good.
Nice though to be back and see some friends here in Seattle.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, Quinn was very excited to see that the Space Needle was still here when we landed.
Is it nice to see? I know you're rooting for the Spurs tonight, but nice to see the old Sonics doing so well.
Oh, absolutely. We love all the guys on the team. They're such good guys, and we're so happy to see they're doing well. Of course, we don't want them to win when we're playing them, but it's good to see them doing well.
Well, great. Good to see Brent doing well and you guys doing well. And a nice jersey here, too, Quinn. Thanks for talking to us.
Go Spurs, go.
Okay, go Spurs. Oh, I can't say that, Kevin.
20-point San Antonio lead. 6:50 to go in the third quarter. Rednour, a floater up and in over Tim Duncan from the top of the key. Luke Rednour knocks down the jumper, and that is his second field goal of the night. In 8 tries, he has 6 points.
Well, with the Sonics missing Ray Allen tonight, the Spurs have been able to just guard everybody man-to-man, and that was the first look Luke's really got tonight.
Parker drives into the lane. Rednour jumps out on a pass intended for Duncan and has a steal. Tried to feed ahead to Lewis, but Robert Horry, with his head up and attentive, has the head to Parker into the lane to the glass, laid it up with the left hand as he crumpled to the floor under the guard of Radmanovic. A foul on Radmanovic. Parker will have to earn them at the line. He will be awarded a couple of free throws here, his third and fourth attempts of the night.
Well, finally they get a turnover on San Antonio's part, and then all of a sudden you give it right back to them. And then did you see how quickly they strike? Watch this. The pass is up to midcourt, and then right to Tony Parker, who attacks the rim.
Parker's free throws up and in. Well, the other thing, too, is with Allen out, when they do double team, and they can freewheel a little more because they know when that extra pass is made, it's going to Murray, who's had a lot of reps. Not nearly the deadly shooter that Ray Allen is. 24 games they're missing the Sonics with great leadership. And, of course, Coach Dave McMillan out tonight as well. Sonics down 20. Murray at the top, floats one up, no. Rebounded Danny Fortson. Brings it outside of Rednour. The Sonics reset. Murray, hard dribble drive. Got to the cup this time, and Fringer rolled it up and in. 18-point San Antonio lead, 5:56 to go third quarter. Sonics have got to make a move on San Antonio right here if they want to make this a game. Parker to the baseline. Challenged by Rednour, forced outside. Parker will turn, find Duncan in deep with a mismatch on Fortson, who just reaches in, stops the clock, fouled. And let's see if Duncan, they rule, was going up for the shot. They say that he was. He had 2 hands on it, was trying to bring it up. He found the arms of Fortune and draws the foul. LFSN brings you more of the Sonics than ever before with Sonics All Access. Host Brian Davis gets you behind the series, I should say, and behind the scenes with exclusive access that you just don't get anywhere else. Tune in Wednesday at 6:30 only on FSN.
Kevin, you're exactly right, though. You're not going to get the 18 points back all at once. So you got to come down. You got to make a couple of stops. And then on offense, you got to make sure you get good looks at the basket like the one Flip got. But then on the defensive end, you got to make stops.
Duncan at the line is poised. He knocks 2 down. 13 points for Tim Duncan. You know, if San Antonio had a weakness, it would be free throw shooting, and in particular Tim Duncan down the stretch in close games. They just have not played close games this year. Here's a pick and roll. Fortune into the lane. And coming over the top was Duncan for the foul, but called by Jimmy Clark out on the wing. Duncan is surprised, but he was over the top of Fortune. Would you bear me out there statistically? I mean, they have not been in a lot of close games, have they?
They haven't. Well, look at this highest point differential. San Antonio is a plus 10.9. That means they're beating teams by 10.9 points per game. And then the Sonics are only plus 4. So that means they've been in a lot of close games. So their free throw percentage hasn't come into play, Kevin, even though they shoot 72% as a team, which is pretty bad for a team that's in first place. They're usually much better than that.
San Antonio is 5-5 in games decided by 5 points or less. Here is Fortune to the line. I'm not sure what that would tell you. Fortune knocks down the free throw.
We got to make it a close game.
Fortune knocks it down. 3 points or less, they are 4-3. San Antonio holding with an 18-point lead. Parker waiting for Duncan. Parker off the screen into the lane. Sonics crowded. He's double. Gets rid of it to Ori. The extra pass, high post, right side. Duncan backs, turns, twitches, banks, in and out. Rebound Romanovich. 5 minutes left in the quarter. Lottie across midcourt ahead of Ridnour. Working top of the key, right side to Lewis. Elevating to the J. No. Grabbed in there by Tim Duncan. Duncan with his 7th rebound of the night. Sonics have held their own on the glass, 29-26, except for defensively. The Spurs with a number of shots, 59, 13 more attempts, and second chance points. The Sonics, of course, were dominated in the first half by the Spurs in that category. Radmanovich up after a loose ball on the defensive end. Tipping for the ball was knocked to the floor. They're going to call a foul on Danny Fortune, battling with Ori. And the foul is on Fortune. That's his 4th.
Parker basically just loses the ball when he tries to go up against Danny. Danny kind of hips him. And then Parker grabs Romanovich. But Danny definitely did hit Robert Ori.
He just sent Ori out of the way. Spurs turn it over just a 4th time on the inbounds play. Sonics bring it up. Romanovich high on the right side. Checked by Bowman. Circles up the Fortune screen. Drives into the line. Does Romanovich. The running lefty won't go, but foul on the way to the rim.
What a solid hesitation move by Vladimir. Right at the top of the key. Just stopped. Looked like he froze the defense and then went right to the basket. That's how you end a shooting slump too, Kevin, is attacking the basket and getting to the free throw line.
Sonics shooting 37%. San Antonio 46. Sonics with 13 turnovers. San Antonio 4 and assists. 16-9. San Antonio with the assists.
Well, San Antonio gets assists because you see how well they move the ball. When one guy has it and the defense runs at him, boom, it goes to the next guy. Well, the Sonics, what are they doing? They dribble too much. We talked about that in the last game. There's a lot of pounding going on instead of moving the basketball.
Ginobili and Parker with 5 apiece. Free throw offered up and in by Collison. Collison is in the lineup now for the Supersonics. He is defending Massenberg. Radmanovich with 6 points on those free throws. Bowen drives into the lane, hands to Massenberg out on the wing. Brent Barry holding, 6 to shoot. Barry knifes into the lane, running right-hander, flipped it up, no. Rebound to Nick Collison. Nick holding out to Ridnour. He'll run into front court. Sonics down 16. 4 minutes to go third. Lewis a 3. No. Radmanovich after it, but Barry sealed him off for the recovery. Up come the Sonics. Parker on the run into the lane to the glass. Got rid of it to Duncan. Amazing how he was able to hang in the air with Ridnour closing on him and find Duncan in the rearview mirror. Now Parker with the ball into the lane. Makes contact with a player. Ball loose. Lewis has got it. Throws it up for grabs down the floor. Romanovich got under it. Races to the hole and slams it. And the Sonics trail by 14. And San Antonio wants a timeout they want to talk about. So the Sonics trying to make a move on a 6-0 run to pull them in 14 with 3:25 left here in the third.
Super play by Rashard Lewis. Going after the ball, getting the ball up in the air. If he tries to throw that any other way, it goes right through the defenders. He got the ball up to Romanovich.
We'll be right back after this timeout on FSN. Calabro on hand. The Sonics in a 6-0 run have pulled them within 14 with 3:25 to go here in this third quarter.
And the Sonics' intensity on the defensive end has picked up too. Kevin forcing 3 turnovers in the last 6 possessions against the San Antonio Spurs. That's how you knock down the lead too.
James with 12.6 rebounds on the bench. Duncan 7 boards. Ginobili leads away with 19. But the Spurs have 4 players in double-figure scoring. Duncan is on the bench now for San Antonio. San Antonio sets up. Ginobili on the wing. Crossing over. Going into the lane. Double. Kick out to Brent for 3. Too strong. Through an air ball. Out of bounds. Barry, to be honest, has shot the ball horribly tonight. He would tell you the same thing. Only not necessarily in those diplomatic terms. He's 0 for 5. Rednauer with it on the wing. Brings it up top to Collison, head of the key. Right side of Romanovich. Off to Collison, pick for 3. Get it interesting, Vladdy. Romanovich nails the 3, and the Sonics are within 13 at 67-56. 2:52 to go in the third. 9-0 Sonic run. Collison comes out with Rednauer to double Parker. He gets rid of it to Ginobili. Into the lane. Kicks to Devin Brown. The jumper's up and in. Devin Brown counters with a 3-point play.
And if you run at them, Kevin, they just penetrate and then throw it to the guy that's standing out there free.
Daniels comes the other way. He circles into the lane. He got by Robert Horry and finger rolled it up and in. While the cat's away, the mice should play. You got to go to the rack when Duncan is on the bench. Spurs lead by 12.
It is a small lineup out there. Robert Horry's the only big guy out there for the Spurs. You're exactly right. You got to take the ball to the basket.
Romanovich got clipped right in the face. He's disabled.
And you got a foul. That's the perfect thing for Antonio to do.
Romanovich, I guess, got an elbow, shoulder, something in the face. He was trying to guard Ginobili. He just got cracked right in the nose. Or maybe the eye. He's rubbing the right eye.
And we're going to see Vladimir trying to force him to the inside, playing defense, and as he runs out.
He got tripped up, and he threw the elbow up.
You're going to have to put some raw meat on that tonight on the flight because he's going to have a shiner.
Lottie's got to step out because that peeper is it's squinting. Parker to the line, and the free throw's up and in.
You know, it's funny what you said about Brent. He is 0 for 5, and you're coming back to the team where he played for 7 years. You always want to do your best. I think he'll take the 0 for 5 if his team wins. I think that's what Brent would say.
Yeah, that's bottom line. Well, how did you feel when you went back to some of those towns?
I couldn't wait to get there.
You've left enough towns in your career.
I got to play for another team so I can come back to Seattle then.
Parker hit the first but missed the second free throw. The Sonics are down 13 with 2 minutes to go in the third. Rednauer comes to midcourt. Rednauer off the Lewis screen. Picked up on a jump switch by Devin Brown. Chest pass coming over here to Daniels. Holding the ball aloft, scanning inside. One on Barrett. Crosses over, goes baseline. On the pass off, Parker came flying by him and brushed against him.
And that's okay, Kevin. Antonio's going to go to the line anyway. They're in the bonus, so what do? You go to the basket, and you try to attack and draw the foul so you can get to the free throw line and knock down a few points.
Well, with Romanovich out, the Sonics lose their firepower for the time being. He had scored 7 of the last 9 Sonic points. And he has gone immediately to the locker room with Mike Sheminsky with him. We're going to take a look at the right eye. Antonio Daniels at the line with 1:46 to go in the third, and the Sonics are down 13. And Daniels' second free throw is good. Sonics trim it to 12. They set up with Collison, Evans, and Lewis, Daniels, and Ridnour. 1:38 remaining here in the third. Horry top of the key. Feeds it to Duncan on the mid-block double. Gives to Horry the cutter. A shot blocked by Lewis. Tipped to the corner. Lewis has it. Controls it outside of Daniels. AD botting the dribble. Comes off the pick. Hesitates. Drives to the cup. Oh, the finger roll wouldn't go. Evans is tied up with Horry and a foul called on Evans. Oh, Daniels got to the rim for the finger roll, and it just would not go.
And he was caught in between, Kevin, if you saw it. But right here, watch this. Richard is behind. He's supposed to be in front of Horry, but he recovers nicely and blocks the shot. And then AD, it looks like he's just caught in between. Do I use the backboard or do I try to just finger roll it over? And when you do that and it hits the rim, it's going to go off most of the time. But that's why you want guys to use the backboard.
So it remains a 12-point deal, and Horry now steps to the line with 1:20 left in the third. And this free throw is up and in. Fans of Sonics are currently taking deposits on the 05-06 season tickets. Place your deposit for an 05-06 season ticket. Receive priority to select the best available seats for next year's Sonic season. Call 206-283-DUNK tonight and speak with a Sonics account executive. Rob Monovich, good news, comes back to the Sonic bench.
I know what he told Mike back there in the training room. Cut me, Mick. Cut me. I'm ready to go back in because they're going to need his firepower.
Tape it up. Oh, it's your eye. I can't. Right. Horry hits 2 free throws. Ridnour now comes down the floor for the Sonics, who trail here by 14. Ridnour gets by Duncan, drives into the lane to the cup, try to finger roll it. Horry there spanks it to midcourt. Recovered by Lewis, zips it over to Nick. He's got a shoot out of the wing and does. Off the back rim. Rebound of Parker, tied up momentarily by Ridnour. He fights free of Luke's embrace. Now will swing into front court. Off to Barry in the corner. 16 to shoot, 50 seconds to play in the quarter. Horry slips the pick. Parker one-on-one on Ridnour, top of the key, hesitates down the left side, double. Try to pass outside, volleyed by Daniels. The pass tipped away by AD. Controlled by Nick. Back to Daniels. Spurs just their 6th turnover. AD trying to gain ground on Parker. Can't, brings it outside, chest pass to Luke in the corner. Ridnour circles off the Nick pick, fires the jumper up, in and out. Duncan at the cup for the rebound, tied up momentarily again by Evans, but pries himself free. Swings it ahead, and Parker will slow it up with 18 seconds to shoot here in the quarter. About a second differential between shot and game clock, and the shot now is at 10 with Parker at midcourt. Parker in the holding pattern. Comes off the pitch, drives into the lane. Hook pass to Horry for 3. Got it. Robert Horry. With 2 and 5/10 seconds left in the quarter, Horry hits a 3. Ridnour comes up. He'll get off a running right-hander. It won't go. So at the end of 3 quarters, the Sonics come back to actually pull to within 12 with that finger roll from Daniels that wouldn't go. And then the Spurs with an Horry 3 open it up. 76-59, a 16, make it a 17-point lead as we head to the 4th in a moment. Here on FSN. Back to the action we go in the 4th quarter. Nice lob off the drive. AD down the right side of the lane. Lobs it near the cup. Collison there to grab it and lay it in. Terrific pass.
That was well done. AD put it right where Nick would go get it.
12 assists for the Sonics. Here's Udrich down the left side. Try to fancy pants a pass to Brown. Got away from it. Devin goes to get it. He's got 7 to shoot. So what you do, goes right to the rim. Drives into the paint. Sets up Barry for the floater. Got it. Brent Barry with a 3-point shot. You're not going to keep him down long. Missed his first 5, and he nails this one. Sonics trail by 18. Ramonovich outside. He'll sling a 3. That won't go. Duncan negotiates his way by Collison to grab the rebound. Guides it ahead to Brent Barry. The pedal into front court and will hold up. 17 to shoot. Barry had the ball jabbed away by Murray. Goes to get it. Free ball in backcourt. Barry into the lane to the glass, switches right to left hand and banks in a running lefty. Beautiful move.
And that's a 6'7" guard right there, handling the basketball, setting the offense up, and then taking it with the left hand. That's pretty impressive.
I'm glad you pointed that out because, you know, watching him play for so long, I take that for granted. But you're absolutely right. It's something to marvel at.
Marvel, yes.
Lewis throws inside to Collison. Nice pump fake to draw the defender off his feet. And then the 2-hand slam for Nick Collison. That's 27 to go in the 4th.
That's about the only time I've seen the Spurs really commit a bad play on defensive end.
Udrich down the baseline outside of Brent. Oh, he's feeling it. He nails a 3. Udrich on the reverse to Barry for 3. And the Spurs trying to put the Sonics away up 21. Daniels into the lane. Bounces to Nick. He'll attack the rim and lay it in with the left hand. Another nice up fake thrown by Collison. And it froze Duncan.
But having a 19-point lead, Kevin, Duncan's not going to foul or do anything silly down there. So he's basically saying, here, Nick, go ahead and take the shot. I'm going to challenge it, but go ahead and take the shot.
84-65. 9:49 to go in the ball game. Udrih bounces over to Duncan. Takes it down to the baseline double. Hook pass cross court to Brent. Out to Devin Brown for 3, no. Collison after the rebound secures it. Bounces ahead to AD. Chugging out of backcourt. Long lead pass to Murray. One dribble and enough. Attacks Duncan with a body. Laid it in with the left hand. Nice move by Ronald Flip Murray.
A solid move going in it to a big guy that's going to block your shot most of the time and taking it up with the left hand.
Timeout call on the floor with 9:23 to go in this ball game, and the San Antonio Spurs lead the Sonics by 17 at 84-67.
And Bones rattling the nets right now. Hit a couple of three-pointers and a nice drive to the basket. Watch out, he can fire it up there.
Look at that. Standstill three.
NBA.
On the stretch with 9:23 to go in the ball game, and Brent Barry knocking down some jimmies. A couple of three-pointers in succession. Barry with 8 points here in the fourth quarter, and the Spurs lead by 17. Devin Brown wheels it left side, checking the clock. Ginobili to Barry, to Brown across the arc, 8 to shoot, spots the seam, drives into the lane, leans back, powers up a shot of Vlade. Good defense, missed it. Rebound to Collison. The outlet pass comes to Antonio Daniels. Down the near edge he comes. Off the Collison screen, the jump pass to Nick, rolling to the hole, powers up a shot. Duncan was there, so was Parker. Crowd wanted to foul, they won't get it. The Spurs will get the ball, however. Up the floor they come. They rule it a block on Collison. Top side Ginobili. Baseline right, Parker holding outside the three-point arc. 8:39 to go in the game. Spurs lead 84-67, and Duncan has it on the block. Turnaround jumper, fading, firing, and hitting. And Duncan with 15 tonight.
Well, you can't fake at him. If you're going to double team him, you got to go down there and do that because he'll score.
Toying with the dribble, Daniels down the left side, had some airspace, got up and in with a jumper, but knocked to the deck. No whistle. Sonics. Well, they're down 86-69 with 8:13 to go here in the fourth quarter of play. Ray Allen is out, but also without Nate McMillan. And this is in no way, shape, or form a slight at Dwayne Casey. But, how shall I put it? There is the substitute teacher factor here tonight. Ball tipped away, Murray with it. Good defense. Murray gets it back from Daniels for a three. That's short. Long rebound gathered in by Parker. Romanovich was standing with his arms up, indicating a three. Well, it was short. Parker had the rebound. He was off to the races. He collides with Daniels, however. And a foul called on Parker. That will give it back to the Sonics. A turnover, actually, on Parker. I beg your pardon. He turned it over, palmed it. And that is just the 8th turnover of the night of San Antonio. Parker and Ginobili have combined for 36 points. Murray, 10 points, 3 assists. Turnovers. Seattle 13 and San Antonio 8. Collison will screen high. Daniels off the screen. Hesitation, dribble drive. Got up under Duncan and laid it in. And the foul.
And you mentioned the story, the recap. Flip's got 10 points, but he just isn't as aggressive like his counterpart, Ray Allen, is. I mean, he draws so much attention out there defensively. This team tonight has not had that problem at all. The Spurs have been able to guard everybody, and you don't get looks like Antonio got like right there, going and getting a clear path to the basket because everybody's guarding everybody.
4 fouls on Duncan. And this sends Daniels to the line. 7 points here in the second half. Sonics actually hung tough. They were down 3. Massenberg with a putback at the buzzer. And it's funny how sometimes those things will send you off a little bit reeling. And the Spurs held a 25-22 lead after 1, and then Sonic bench went into the second quarter and they just simply couldn't muster anything. 12 points. They were outscored 23-12 in the second quarter. San Antonio outscored them 28-25 in the third. And Duncan now from again a wicked angle, set out on the left side. Banks and scores. Duncan with 17 is hit 7 of 11, and the Spurs leading by 16. Daniels trying to come off the screen to James Does, bounces top of the key to Lewis. He's been held in check tonight with 7 points. Sonics' second leading scorer, averaging 21 a game. Murray, the step back, missing short. And the rebound grab by Parker. And Murray, the substitute for Allen tonight, with 4 of 13 shooting and 10 points. And it took him, what, 4 or 5 tries to get his first one in. Here's Duncan, top of the key. Left side, Devin Brown. He's going to dribble in and take what you give him, and that's a short jumper that misses short. Rebound to Murray. 6:29 left in the game. Spurs by 16. The first of 7 games in 17 days on the road for San Antonio. Rabanovic shovels to James, attacks the rack. Devin Brown out a piece of it. And James' momentum carries his arms through the ball, and he fans it out of bounds. It'll be San Antonio ball again.
How many big guys can you count, Kevin, that use the backboard like Tim Duncan? I can think of one. Bill Walton is the only guy I ever saw shoot the ball from there. Parrish always had that turnaround. Yeah. McHale might be one, but
you're going back in time now.
Oh yeah,
I was thinking modern day guys. I was gonna say occasionally you'll see Garnett.
Okay.
That's occasionally, but I mean he won't do this. That's not his bread and butter. They'll try to pack a Duncan will, selling the pump fake, driving in, try to slam it, hit the back of the rim. Murray just pops the ball up. Bowen was there. Brown with it to Bowen. Tried to center it. Deflected in traffic by Murray. Grabbed by Vlade. Steers it up the floor to Lewis. Breaking to the glass for the jam. 5:43 left in the game. The Sonics are down 14 at 88-74.
Well, they're going to have to extend their defense. They're still down 14 points. They're going to have to put a little more pressure on the ball and not just let Tony Parker bring it up.
That's a good one, though. Who used the glass? Who was known for bank? I mean, let alone a big guy. I'm talking about any player. Here's Parker off the screen from Duncan. Plays one up there, missed it. Rebound grab by Daniels up the floor, bangs into Ginobili, and finally a whistle. It took AD to go into nosedive mode before foul was called, and they finally whistled it on Ginobili. Take a look at the bank. Does anybody bank like this guy outside of Wall Street? Tell me.
It's beautiful. I love this shot. You get it up, and you'll get it on the rim, and look how soft it hits. That's pretty basketball.
Duncan checking the bottom line with 17. San Antonio leading by 14 with 5:16 to run here in the fourth. Tim Duncan. What's new, huh? 17 points, 9 rebounds for the big fundamental. And the Spurs lead it here tonight on the Sonics. 88-74. Down 2-0 in the season series for the Sonics. Sonics got it back in early November and then got it back in early December. This is a different Spurs team, though, than the second time the Sonics played it. Murray elevating for the jumper, rimming. Rebound to Parker. 2 things. One we touched on. Nesterovic out with an injury. He'll be back after tonight's play for the rest of their road trip. And Malik Rose hasn't played a minute tonight. We understand he's in the doghouse. Ginobili into the lane. James hammers Ginobili as he went into the lane. Now that's a good hard foul. The hands applied above the shoulders at the shot. So 2-shot foul for Ginobili and no flagrant call. Although Greg Popovich took one step out there, lurched forward out on the floor. And he's all right. He wants to bring Jimmy Clark over there for a quiet discussion. Ginobili is as tough as they come. We talked about guys that bank shots. Our resident genius, Jeremy Wilson, in the truck once again. Rises out of the corner. You know, he's just sitting there languidly punching in numbers. Hey, didn't Peyton bank in a shot now and then? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was true. Yeah. He loved that little baseline, turn to the baseline and put it off the board.
Only about 999 games here, that's all. Here's Daniels coming off the Rabanovic screen. Hesitates to the baseline, circles, holds, gives to Murray on the baseline. 8 to shoot. Murray in the corner. Murray shaking Ginobili. Elevates for the jumper. Duncan with a rebound. 90-74 count. 4:22 to go in the ball game. Are we looking at the NBA champions? Everybody before the year started, well, everybody I know in my neighborhood anyway, when I strolled to the mailbox, considered San Antonio to be the champion this year. Duncan to the baseline. Whips in a right-hander. It's good. San Antonio comes into tonight's play 36-10 overall, 23-1 at home, and you know who beat them, the Sonics. And 13-9 on the road. And they've got 7 straight coming up on the road. They've started tonight here in Seattle where they hold an 18-point lead. Rabanovic got in deep, laid it in with 3:44 to go in the ball game. 92-76 the count. It's a 16-point San Antonio lead.
And Tim Duncan was slow getting over to help Parker, who had switched out on Vladimir. That was a mismatch. Just was a step slow getting over there to help.
What do you think? Are they going to be the champions this year? I mean, is it sacrilege here on the broadcast to mention that? Duncan now and James have words.
I got to tell you, though, I strongly believe in 2 words in okay, what are we looking at? High percentage.
That, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last 8 seasons. How about that?
Yeah, and it only took him like 600 games to win 400. So he's got a great percentage, winning percentage. And, you know, they've won 2 championships, 1999 and 2003.
And look, you got Lakers, Pacers, Kings, Wolves in winning percentage in the last 8. But the Lakers, are they what they've been? No. Are the Pacers what they've been? Our test is out for the year. They're not what they've been. The Kings are not what they have been in the past. Nor is Minnesota, I would contend. Here's Duncan from the top of the key, nails it. You could say then, based on that the Spurs, particularly with that young backcourt, Ginobili and Parker, have potentially a chance to win it. 2-3 these babies. I mean, you know.
And you're talking that percentage. I mean, of all the major sports, the Spurs win 70% of their games. I mean, that's all 4 major sports. I mean, this is a good franchise. And I was just going to say there's 2 words that I love in a franchise. If you got stability and security, then you're going to have success. And that's what they've done here with Popovich being the coach and the players being surrounded by Duncan.
They have a good eye for talent there in that San Antonio system. There's no question. Ginobili handling into the lane. Veers by James. Dumps it over to Bowen in the corner. Ginobili with it. Chips a pass outside to Udrih. Up and in. I mean, there's a case in point. Ginobili a low first pick and Udrih a low first-round pick.
Well, they finished with that winning percentage. You're not going to have any top 10 picks.
yeah, goes that saying. So you got to have an eye for talent. And they have. Ginobili with the pick. Anticipating a pass, drives into the lane, sidesteps Daniels and laid it in. 98-76 count. Spurs lead with 2:22 to go here in the ballgame. And we have a whistle as Ginobili reaches in, I believe intentionally to stop the clock, and they'll get the starters out. 2:20 left in the ballgame. The score with this timeout: Spurs 98, Sonics 76. Hammering on the Sonics, 98-76, 2:20 left in the ballgame, and the Spurs have put the whole package together tonight.
Well, you can call them a complete team right there. You see the defense taking the turnover and then going on the other end and converting it to a basket. Rebounding. They got 5, maybe 6 attempts at one time, and then they got a veteran in there like Robert Horry that he's in there scrapping for an offensive board. And then you got the MVP guy, Tim Duncan. This guy, Mr. Fundamental, did you call him? I like that word for him because he doesn't make very many mistakes. And then this is our favorite shot of the night, the little bank shot from the wing.
The big fundamental.
The big fundamental, that's right. He's not a small fundamental.
You can call him Mr. Fundamental, though. I'm sure he'll abide by that. Driving into the lane was Daniels. He's hammered and fouled on the way to the rack. He'll go to the line for 2 shots. A moment ago, I mentioned the picks. Udrih was the 28th pick in this year's draft. In 99, he's now in his 3rd year. Ginobili was the 57th pick in the 2nd round by the San Antonio Spurs. R.C. Buford, general manager president there, is a real good keen eye. They've got a nice staff. He's always scouring Europe.
What about Tony Parker? Where was he?
All you can do is shake your head. Parker, I think, was the 29th pick in the draft.
29th pick in the draft. And Tim Duncan was the only #1 pick for this team in 1997.
And, of course, David Robinson. And then they had the bad fortune at the time. Robinson went down with an injury and blew up a season. And then they came back with the pick that got Duncan, and, of course, made a smooth transition from Mr. Robinson's neighborhood to Monsieur Parker, Mr. Ginobili, and Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Winners of championships in 99 and 03. And you can make a case with that core right there.
And how about,
even though Duncan doesn't look too happy, that this could be a very successful group for the next 3 years.
How about the guy in the middle? They say he's a comedian. He hosts like the banquet before the fall starts.
Parker, Parker.
You know, he roasts everybody.
He's Mr. MC, that's right.
He wanted to take a picture with Coach Popovich and Tim Duncan, and then he splashes Manu's gold medal at him. I mean, that's pretty bad.
That's low.
That's low.
Udrih drives into the lane. He's tied up by Rednauer in the Sonics with 154 remaining in this contest. Trailing here by 19 at 98-79. All right, tomorrow, the Sonics taking on the Sacramento Kings. We know this about the Kings. On Sunday, they played without Stojakovic and Weber, both out with injuries. Back spasms to Stojakovic and an ankle sprain to Weber. Nonetheless, they beat Minnesota in Minneapolis. Parker make that buried, knifing in, trying to get by Radmanovic for a shot. Foul called on Vlade and a technical foul call on Vlade. He spiked the ball off the floor.
And, you know, we failed to mention, I'm on my Tony Parker soapbox here, that he is supposedly dating.
Yes.
I don't know her last name. But I've seen her on the TV, Desperate Housewives.
Okay.
Ava.
I can't help you, man. You know what? I've never seen the show. I may be the only guy in America who's never even seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I just heard that from Jimmy Clark, the official. He was asking him about that earlier today.
Well, she's not here tonight. That's all that counts.
That's it.
Doesn't do the road games. Let's take a look at some scores around the league brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Houston over Boston tonight, 97-94. Houston surging now. Remember, they are right there at the bottom of the playoff picture. They're at tied actually with Minnesota for that final pick. Memphis over New Orleans tonight, 98-91. Dickhouse still going strong, 19-12. You talk about most improved. There's your guy right now, huh? Dan Dickhouse.
Getting an opportunity to play for the Hornets, and he's taking full advantage of it.
3 double-doubles the last 4 games, 3 of 4. Wow. Well, something that New Orleans can smile about. Udrih into the lane, changes a dribble drive to a pull-up jump shot. We have a loose ball foul call with 1:18 remaining in the game. The Spurs 101 and the Sonics 79.
And with Dan Dickau, we were talking with Terry Stotts, who was his first coach in Atlanta. And Terry even said he was going to be a good player. He just looked like he was forcing things. Well, this is his 3rd year. And most guys will pan out in 3 years.
Tomorrow, the Sonics and the Sacramento Kings. And the Sonics can thank the Kings because of their win yesterday in Minnesota. So the Sonics don't lose any ground, or give up any ground, I should say, in the Northwest Division. The Kings are 18-5 at Arco, however. Sonics won the first meeting, beating them by 30. Brad Miller named the Western Conference Player of the Week, 24 points, 68% shooting from the field. Sean Marks inside. Double team. Bounces in the corner, and intending for Devin Brown. Right now they're deflected out of bounds. 1:03 left in the contest. Spurs 101 and the Sonics 79. Without Ray Allen tonight and without Nate McMillan. Dwayne Casey, the associate head coach of the Sonics, doing what he possibly can. He started Murray tonight, and I assume if Allen can't answer the bell for tomorrow, it will be the same. Wilkes into the lane, jump stop, powers to the rack and laid up a running right-hander over Collison. Nice move from the 5'11 Wilkes. Rednauer now circling up top, chest pass to Mateen Cleaves, who was activated today by the Sonics. When they waived, Ibu Kutluai decided he needed to go to Europe to play basketball. It was a good decision. Collison lays it in. Ibu, a terrific guy, but he realized he was not going to play here in Seattle. I mean, they had a hard time finding Murray repetitions. Marks with a shot, missed it. And that's because of the good fortune of the Sonics, sir. Great guy to be around, though. Ibu Kutluai, we wish him the best as he heads back to Europe to play ball.
Well, we got to take him up on that Turkey trip. Remember, he invited us to Turkey.
Love to go to Istanbul. Ball thrown inside, and Collison bounces ahead to Vlade. Vlade running to catch it. Steers it outside to Luke. 12 to shoot down the right side of the lane. Kick out to Murray for 3. Got it. So Ron Murray nails the 3. 103-84 the count. And the time has run down on this one. San Antonio takes off after Massenberg tips one in at the buzzer at the end of the first quarter. And they never looked back from that point to defeat the Sonics here tonight. The final in Seattle, 103-84. FSN starts now here in Seattle, where the Sonics lose to the San Antonio Spurs, 103-84. Tim Duncan, 21 points and 10 rebounds. How about Tony Parker's night tonight? 17 points, 10 boards, 6 assists for Monsieur Parker. Sacre bleu. Let's go to Brian Davis.
Well, with the last couple of baskets by Collison and Murray, the Sonics avoid their season low of 79 points. A couple of minutes left in the ball game. During a timeout, Associate Head Coach Dwayne Casey pulls the guys together and he says, look, let's just finish this the right way. Let's just keep working hard. And that's what he got down the stretch. But now, if you look at it by the numbers, the Sonics, with 4 games in hand, fellas, on the San Antonio side, but they're now 3 down in the loss column, and they've got to go and play at Sacramento tomorrow night. The Kings refreshed and I'm sure bolstered by a 10-point victory last night over Minnesota. So a tough double-double here, guys.
Tough double-double, but what the Sonics have got to keep in mind, obviously, Brian, you know this, is that they have a 7-game lead over Minnesota, or did before the night started. It's down to 6.5 games because the Kings did them the supreme favor of defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves yesterday. Let's go back to the San Antonio Spurs. We talked about the young backcourt tandem of Parker and Ginobili at the beginning of the game. They've linked these guys up till the end of the millennium, I think, with contracts this summer. And why not? Look at the talent of these two guys.
Well, Ginobili's averaging 15.7 points. Parker's 15.6. So they both can score the basketball, Kevin. But the thing that's impressed me the most is how they've sold themselves into this system. They're so unselfish. They look for each other. If they penetrate, the other one gets in the other one's vision, and they throw it to them, and they knock down shots consistently. And I love Ginobili because he'll take it to the rack, and I love Parker because he'll take it to the paint or get to the rim in the paint also.
Sonics go to 16-6 here at home this year, and they were defeated tonight by a pretty difficult backcourt tandem to handle. Ginobili, the slasher. Parker, as quick as they come, 94 feet with a handle of the ball. 13 assists between the two. How about 15 of 28 combined from the field, and a total of 40.